can you rent a property out on short stay lets on Airbnb in central London? And the answer is yes, you can, but there are some caveats. So there's something in Greater London which is called the 90-day rule, which says that you can't rent a property out as short stay lets on Airbnb for more than 90 days in a year without getting consent from the local council. However, a lot of people do it anyway without getting consent from the council. Is that illegal? It's not illegal. You're breaking the rule of the council, and worst case scenario is they'll tell you to stop, which you will then have to do, otherwise they'll close your business down. However, if you run it well and you don't get any complaints from the neighbours, you're probably going to be absolutely fine. So the real key is having exit strategies and is knowing how to run it smooth, profitable, in a way that isn't going to be a nuisance to the community. If you can do that, you can pretty much do Airbnb in London.
Jesus Christ, that's misleading. Okay, there is a lot of stuff that's in this video that in my opinion is dangerous and very, very misleading. So if you're watching this video in particular, just be very wary of what's been advised to you. And there is a reason why you need to speak to regulated individuals who are represented by bodies across the UK to make sure you as the consumer get the correct advice. As far as I'm aware, I don't know this person individually, so I can't tell you whether this person is regulated, but judging from the advice that he tends to give, certainly in this video, it would demonstrate that he is not regulated by any unified body, typically the FCA or the SRA, which focuses on solicitors and the advice that you get there. So let's break down the specifics in this video. Firstly, it is illegal. It's not just breaking a council rule. What he's referring to in this video is something called the Deregulation 2015 Act. That was put in place to ensure that people stick to the idea of renting the property for no more than 90 days on a short-term let, typically known as Airbnb or serviced accommodation, within 1 calendar year. Let's assume that you do get caught out and you end up renting the property in a short-term let basis and you do it for more than 90 days. The council then finds out, they then start to pursue you and they start issuing notices to tell you to shut down your business. That doesn't mean that you have an exit strategy, so to speak. Some of the implications that are attached to certain councils in London is an unlimited fine, which could not only shut down your business, but could be catastrophic. Then you have the other side of renting a property on a short-term let basis, which crosses typically into leasehold flats and lender's permission. Looking first at leaseholds, a lot of the leaseholds in London have restricted clauses within their agreements, typically private residence clause, no business use clause, and minimum AST clauses, meaning that you cannot let the property for anything less than 6 months. A lot of the leaseholders in London will be very aware of this already. If they're not, you need to cross-check with your managing agent or you need to cross-check with the freeholder as to whether you have any of those restrictions within your lease. If you do have any of these restrictions, you will not be able to go down this route. So forget what the council is saying, forget what anyone else is saying. This in itself will restrict you from being able to do it legitimately. All it takes is for one neighbour, it could be another tenant, it could be a neighbour who actually lives there, to see so many people coming in and out of the property to raise a complaint and notify the council. Then we move on to the banks and their permissions. If you are buying this property with a typical buy-to-let mortgage with the typical high street bank, they will not allow you to put an Airbnb or a serviced apartment guest into your property. They have full restrictions on anything associated with that. So any of your typical high street lenders, such as Santander, such as Barclays, BM Solutions, which is part of Halifax, or the Mortgage Works, which is part of Nationwide, will not allow you to do it categorically. There are about 10 lenders in the market, give or take, that will allow you to do Airbnb and serviced apartment accommodation. These lenders in particular have starting rates somewhere in the region of mid-5s up to about 7 or just above 7% currently, given the market where it is right now, and their arrangement fees that are associated are ridiculous. This is because they know that you are going to benefit from a higher yield and a higher profit from renting the property, so they want to take advantage of that, and that's the reason why they give you the criteria to be able to do it. Now, if you then focus on the specifics of you as a landlord, you then fall into 2 categories. You have non-owner occupier and you have an owner occupier. An owner occupier is someone that owns their own residential property, and a non-owner occupier is someone that does not own their residential property. If you fall under this bracket of owner-occupier, you will typically get access to the entire market. They will allow you to go to whichever lender you like, and those 10 lenders that I suggested that will consider Airbnb and serviced accommodation will be at your disposal. If you are a non-owner-occupier, you will not get access to the majority of the market. You'll get access to about 3 or 4 prime lenders, but when you then look at the 10 lenders that I suggested that will consider Airbnb and serviced accommodation, that gets restricted to 2 lenders. So can you make money in this setup? Yeah, absolutely. There is plenty of money to be made if you do it correctly, but that's the focal point. It's doing it correctly. You have to make sure that you have the correct lender that will allow you to do it down this route. And if need be, make sure you have planning permission from the council that will allow you to do this as well. Typically, to obtain planning permission, it's about £700. Given the difference between £700 to get planning permission or an unlimited fine from select councils, I know which one I'd rather go for.